What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We're making it halfway through the middle of the week. We've got a big day. We got a big day today. We got some Fed speakers today, but tomorrow I think would be a much bigger day where we got Jerome Powell coming in. But we got, if Jerome can't join us every day, the people I know who can. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to Amy. We got Andy. Good morning to Bill. Jay. Liza's in the house. Lauren, good morning. We got Lou. Marius, good morning. Martina, hope you're doing well. Ron's in the house. Beautiful granddaughter, Ron. Ryan, good morning to you. Sebastian, good morning. We got Wendy in the house. Wally, good morning. All my peeps out in YouTube land. Rado, Ivo, we got Cute Critters. Good morning to you as well. All my people in YouTube land just sitting, lurking in the background. It's okay. I still love you. Just make sure you guys hit that like and thumbs up and subscribe. And I don't know, maybe they added a new feature, but whatever. Just tap all those buttons. Or as YouTubers say, smash things. I don't know why they're so angry all the time, but they say smash the like button. So I don't know. But let's start with the SPY. SPY is gapping down slightly. Pretty decently, I would say. But still inside day. Inside day. It's another too crazy. We still got a moving average coming in, holding us up a little bit. Got a little support there. And then, so this should be, I think, the 100. We got the 50 right above us. Right now, squeezed in between. I do have one level that should look to hold, 433.62. That's a level I would look to hold. And then the next one down becomes 432.87. That's this VPOC right here. That's also something that we've already retested. And I do think that does have capability of breaking down, taking us into the magic number of 431.82. Otherwise, the last few days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days since we got up into this range, we haven't really done anything. So we're definitely building out some pressure for one direction or the next. And that's the big question. That's the $1 million question. Which way do we break from there? I don't know. So is this all just a retest into here? Then we pull back and then we have that recession. Everyone's been, at this point, it feels like everyone's been asking for the recession. They're like, can we just get the recession already? The quicker we get the recession, the quicker we get the recovery. I don't know. But, or maybe we bounce out from here and we still got 438.91 is the magic number to the high side. But for today, really strong resistance now. 435.09. So I think the upside is going to be tough. I think it could happen. Still inside day, but I think as we start to get around 435, that's a spot we want to look short. Qs. QQQ. We've got a little bit of a gap down to the very lows of yesterday. I see Cute Critters in YouTube land. I know you said check out NVDA. We will check that out because that was definitely an interesting gap as well. But there's definitely some pressure on the Qs right now. I think some of the what are they called? The Magnificent Seven. They're just seven. Get off your high horse, stocks. They're just seven stocks that just move like crazy. But this one is gapping down a little bit to the lows, or at least to the open of Friday. So we really have to watch that Friday of yesterday. So we really have to watch that key level right there. See if we start breaking down further. We should still have support if we do break down. I don't think it's the end of the world yet, but for 365.30 is the next little support. Although that one's been retested now twice, it's a little bit more likely to break. So we'll have to watch that level. It's one lower. Still got this downtrend. Maybe we could just glide along that for a while. Otherwise, there's nothing really stopping us until back to four. I keep saying 4, but 360.35. So there's a lot of room to the downside and very good resistance above us, starting at 368.17. So 368.17, then we go to 369. That's a very difficult resistance to break through. I think the only thing that could really push us through that at this point is a good news that comes from maybe Jerome Powell could do it. I don't even know. That's a. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 5 or 6 VPOCs right there, smack in the middle. That's that's going to be a tough one to break. I think we need some kind of, maybe Tesla earnings could do it tonight. I don't know. We need some kind of big news to gap us up. I think essentially above that, come back down, retest it, and then pop off. But that's going to be tough. I guess why is the SPY and Qs down? I mean, multiple reasons, but we do have to look at TLT. That one is still essentially no man's land. That one's gapping down today as well. So we really haven't gained anything in a positive direction. No momentum. We did have one little bounce. The market kind of tried to rally off of it. But we're below all VPOCs at this point. So now I'm looking at resistance on TLT, 85.27. And again, it's very, very difficult to buy stocks as TLT just continues to just powerhouse to the down direction. There's nothing holding this up. The next level I'd look for at least $84.21. Good morning, Lucian. So 84.21 will be the next spot. That's where we opened on this Friday, October 6th. And if we can't create a double bottom here, that's going to push TLT. That's going to push the yields up on the bonds. And again, that's more indication that there's higher rates on the horizon, and we're probably coming down further in the market. But it's going to be very tough for stocks to rally. So that's why we pull that up. We'll take a look at WTI. I would say even more so. So, yep, this is WTI is up a little bit. I think crude is the one. I think this morning was up like 2.something%. I think looks like that came down a little bit. So that was higher. So maybe we get a little relief there. Maybe that was a blow off top, little bull trap for crude potentially, but oil's come down. It was a lot more severe this morning. So we'll see on that one. Let's pull up NVDA first, since that was the first one I saw. So let's review this gap from yesterday. I was a little bit more on the bullish side of NVIDIA, and we actually I played it off a nice hammer yesterday too. But the only reason is if we're really looking at these candles. So if we're just looking at colors, yeah, this one is a gap and go, right? So we gap down here, green candle, we're breaking below it, looks horrific. I think we made a lot of money as a group when Maloney was on the mic on NVIDIA. I think Ron was hitting like 5 Rs, or I don't even know if he remembered to carry the one, so maybe it was 15 Rs. I'm not sure, but crazy moves to the downside, and then very, very strong bounce. I'm looking at this thing as more of a retest gap. We got a nice little high wave indecision from yesterday, but this green candle was nothing really but a retest gap. So you already had bearish sentiment to the start. You had a good bearish day selling off. So this candle here is actually a little bit more negative sentiment, even though it is a green candle. Then you gap below that, and essentially this run up yesterday, that was just kind of the retest into the retest gap. So now we have a high wave indecision candle. We'll have to see what happens here. This is going to be a little tougher. You can't really play. You could play inside candles, you could play high waves, but the only real way to try it is just using risk to reward. So the lower you could get to the bottom of yesterday, the better risk to reward you have, right? So if we're saying, and most high wave candles are indecision candles, we typically stay there for a little bit, right? So if you can buy low on this, that will give you targets up to, I would say, about 430, 859. So we do have some room to the higher side. See if we get a couple of red candles, some people that did buy the dip and held overnight, they're freaking out. So maybe we get a little selling at open, and I would actually look to buy this one up. Very well could break through, right? We've obviously had some bearish sentiment all the way through, and in that case, I'll lose an R, but I'm okay with that. Otherwise, buy low as you start to push up higher, take your profits, 438.27. If you get to this 438.27, 438.60, somewhere in that zone, that might be a spot you want to consider short, and you're playing kind of this micro short term, 3 days, 4 days in the bearish direction. So that's how I'd probably look to play it. And then your stop is obviously somewhere down here, 424.79. But again, the lower we go, I think the better opportunity is play that retest, especially if it doesn't break. If it starts to break, we have levels of 418.83. So it's still $11 to the downside. That just pushes us into a moving average. Maybe creates a little bit of double bottom here, but yeah, I think we get a little bit of chop. Right now, if we open here, I would love to see some selling get into the as low as possible to yesterday's candle, and then just play risk reward that it doesn't break out of yesterday's range. Let's see. I saw some other ones in here. Was it Sebastian says Tesla? Lauren wants to look at MA and PG. MasterCard. A little bit of gap and go. Still got some support on this one. So I would say next support is probably about 397.06. So you got about $1 to the downside on this gap and go. My guess would be at open. We're back in this high wave candle, huh? That's where we closed on that candle. We got some bullish gap up. We're trapping 2 days. I'd probably think this one, I would love to see a green candle in here at open and then take a break, but I would think this would be a little bit more bearish. Question is targets on this. And that would take me to, I mean, essentially we've been in this chop zone for a while. So we've been somewhere around here. And last little bit we've been hanging out. That would put us about 50% either way. I do like the fact that we're trapping 2 days. We got a lot of wicks up at the top here, so that's definitely implying some bearish pressure. I would like it to the downside, honestly. I like it to the downside, but you do have one level that I think can get held up at. If this level breaks, the next one down, and again, that's been retested already here. And if we get a deep sell, we're probably looking at somewhere in this range. That would take us to 393.75. But we would need some panic selling. Maybe we get some more panic selling today. I don't know. We do need capitulation somewhere. We're gonna need some kind of absolute freak out day in the markets. We really haven't got it. Haven't got that yet. PG, Procter and Gamble. So I believe they had earnings. Is that correct? Yep. So they beat earnings per share, 6.43% surprise to the upside. And then they beat expectations by 290 million. So pretty good, decent results off of that. I'm very skeptical as to where this price opens. Just eyeballing this thing, looks like we're probably roughly at about a 50% retracement of this completely bearish move. Yep, so we're sitting at about a 50% retracement, just above it. We've got a ton of moving averages coming in. We got the entire market gapping down today. I think this is a good candidate for a fade. I think I would probably fade this one. Let me just make sure I add this one to the list. We'll throw it up higher. PG, and then we'll see if we have room on this thing. It's going to give us about just over $2. We know we have the 618 above us. So again, I would like to see maybe some buying into the 618. That gives us just better risk to reward. But I think all of those bears are going to probably try to pound this thing down. Anybody that bought the last 1, 2, 3, 4 days, they're like, wow, we got one. We got one. But yeah, I'll be looking to probably fade PG, Tesla. Should have strong support somewhere around 251.40. Tesla's going to be an interesting one because we do have earnings after the bell today. So my question is, what do you think is going to happen? Do they beat? Do they get clobbered? Very, very important day for Tesla. They've already kind of released negative news throughout this period in terms of lowering prices a gazillion times. but this is the pennant pattern we're looking for. Again, we're very, very close to the bottom of this pennant pattern. I think your opportunity on this one as a day trade today, and it might just be chop fest. We might not do anything, and we probably stay inside this candle. That's what I would expect. But if you're buying it, and if anybody is bullish on Tesla saying they're coming out going to beat earnings, we're going to gap up. It's going to be 280 by tomorrow morning. We're on the path to $400. Whatever your case in a bullish scenario is, this opening spot's going to give us a decent risk to reward on it. Probably putting stops maybe somewhere. I mean, the closer you can get to like 251.23 entry, the better. Maybe throwing stops at like 247.05. And then if you're going to hold overnight, regardless, because it's earnings, your stop somewhere probably around 233-ish. But today's gonna be very, very important. Usually on days that, especially something that gets looked at as heavily as Tesla will today, for earnings, you're gonna see a lot of back and forth, especially toward the end of the day. So right now we do have decent risk to reward just on that pennant pattern, where this is probably a decent spot to, I wouldn't say load the boat, but cautiously buy like a share. This would be the spot, but otherwise inside day, it's going to be tough already. And then you got the earnings coming out. So just watch that. ESTC. Nice gap up there. What is this off of knees? Man, I was looking at this one the other day too. Jeffries upgrades elastic to buy from holds, raises price target to 100 from 75. I was watching these guys and I was like, man, they got some strength coming in the last 2 days. Really nice gap. Looks different than the market. Might be hitting a little resistance up here. So mini pullback first and then look to go long. The reason I don't think I was getting in there for, I don't think I was taking it for a swing. It would have been more of a day trade, I think. And I think the volume is a little messed up. Today with the upgrade, we might have some more volume, might be playable. But yeah, give me a pullback first on this one. I don't know if I get it, but it is a retest gap from yesterday. Longer term, we do have a little bit of resistance. I think this one probably fades. You could get a better price if you do want to try to go with Jeffries' side with Jeffries. ARRM. I feel like the market only reacts to Piper Sandler in terms of upgrades. I don't know why. Anytime Piper Sandler says anything, the market goes crazy. Anybody else are like, Jeffries. Who do they think they are? Piper Sandler? ARM still just, I think valuation is still absolutely crazy here on ARM. I think ARM has to come down a lot lower. And if it doesn't, I just will never, like, I'm not really excited at $51 to buy ARM. Otherwise, ARM is gapping down, still inside candle. Got a couple levels of support. Not a lot of history on this chart to really go off of. We are below IPO price. 95% of companies eventually get closes below opening IPO price. So that's fair for them, I guess. That valuation that we opened at was absolutely ludicrous. And I think this one goes a lot lower. Me personally, I'm just complete bear. I just woke up as a bear today. I don't know. But yeah, I think this one goes lower. You're gonna have support, resistance coming in at 42.03, and then you do have a decent level of support here, 51.24, probably a little bit more to the chop side. SPR, nice gap up. SPR. Spirit Aerosystems. That is quite the gap. Getting kind of close to some resistance, 21.33, but can't really sneeze at 11% short float. What is their news? Yep, the next one I was going to look at was Boeing. Spirit Aerosystems taking fresh Airbus Boeing chargers. Sort of forecast loss owes less to rework on Boeing. Book another 100 million forward loss on the 787 program. All right, so we got some positive news. It's gonna be a wild one, honestly. Like, that's a good gap. We do have some resistance above us. I mean, I think this one probably get to about 21.37 today. But I wouldn't also be surprised if it goes absolutely nuts with 11% short float, and we are definitely trapping a lot of people. The bigger move, if we really go crazy, I think that could take us 22.32. It's also a retest gap from here, but we're trapping a decent amount of bulls on this, or bears on this one. It's gonna be one to watch. I don't know how I want to play it though. My if that wasn't 11% short float, I'd be like, yeah, it probably fades. And then you got that short float in there squeezing out a lot of bears. There's one more thing I want to do to this one. Come on, get higher. All that work for nothing. Wave count wise, this could be a 1, 2. This could be a 3. That would be a 4. Move started about here. You're only really at the 30% retracement. All right, so maybe if it really goes bullish today, maybe we get 23.37. I would have to almost wait for a pullback. I gotta kind of ignore the short float on this one. Wait for a pullback, then possibly go long. Is Boeing moving off that news at all? So Boeing is doing nothing. All right, nothing crazy there. UAL. Yep, that's an interesting one for sure. So they did have earnings and they beat on both fronts. It's been doing nothing but selling. You're like, what else do you have to do? The numbers are good. They are making money. And we're gapping down. We were actually a little worse than this pre-market. I think we were down to like 37, I don't know, 71, something like that in that zone. I don't want to go short. The PE of this company is crazy, like crazy, incredibly good. If it wasn't an airline, I'd be stacking up on this one in the long term. I think you're going to start to see seller exhaustion on this one, even though this one is technically a gap and go. I don't know when the point comes in that these airlines want to get reversed. At this point, the valuation of UAL is pretty dirt cheap. It does not mean the stock can't go lower. I think people are looking at these airlines going, I don't, what's happening? This could be capitulation day. Like I said, we need capitulation on something, but we got potential higher rates. I think the bigger thing, and maybe some of the fear coming into UAL, is they have a lot of, UAL specifically has a lot of flights into Israel. That's not going to happen for a minute. So you could have some weaker outlook. And the only thing I could think as to why these things just keep on moving lower, and it's not just them, it's all airlines are really getting clobbered, is people don't think the actual revenue is going to hold up. They have a negative outlook on what the balance sheet can be in the next 12 months. So maybe that has to do with, I think the economy's coming down. I think we're hitting recession. All these guys, again, they lock their oil prices in ahead of time. Like, they're usually pretty far in advance with contracts that they're purchasing, just give themselves kind of a steadier business model. But yeah, I don't know. These guys are getting absolutely killed, and I just want to short it. I don't care what that chart looks like for even for a day trade purpose at these levels. I'm not going to short it. It's kind of tough to go long, but I like it a lot better to go long on these things. So it'd be a wait and see. If today's capitulation day, though, where we gap down, every single buddy in here that has been shorting wants to take some profits. We finally get some volume, maybe due to earnings. It'd be very interesting to see how these candles close. Otherwise, I hate airlines. I like this price a lot, though. So we'll have to see where that goes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much that gap and go is going to hold up. I'd even almost say, just let's look. We got 3 minutes. Let's look psychologically real quick. If you were buying here, because you're like, number one, I mean, all the estimates beat, but we just had downgrades from analysts. So they're all already predicting downgrades, and we beat their softball levels, right? So we have that in place. We've been absolutely getting clobbered. We're down massively for the year, just free falling. How scared do those buyers feel right now? Probably not that scared. They're like, you know what? I got this thing at $40. Okay, we're down $2 at this point. Essentially, we basically survived earnings. I'm still looking at this valuation going, this is crazy. I wouldn't be that terrified I wouldn't be like, man, I just got trapped and I have to sell. I'd be like, you know what? I don't care. I got this thing at $40 and great PE, great valuation. And I don't think this gap down is really freaking out anybody that is buying the last 2 days. Anybody selling here, this is an opportunity for them. I think this thing actually kind of works as a retest gap at open. And I would make my case that we could go bullish. That being said, I mean, we've been in free fall, absolute free fall. So we'll see. Let me see if I can get Trading View is not wanting to cooperate, trying to get that thing higher on my list, but oh well. Lucius says, yeah, I think it softens the blow, or they missed the report, or they lowered expectations and they come in. Absolutely. Yep. Can you speak to the accuracy of longer term TTM data after the open, if you have time, like 2 and 4 hour or daily, weekly? Yeah, we could definitely talk about that. Let me see if I'm missing anything else. AMD. And I saw TTM. I thought you meant trailing 12 months for a second, but you're talking about TTM squeeze. AMD is a little bit of a gap down. Still at a little bit of support inside yesterday's candle. Going to be a little chop fest. I think a little bit more pressure potentially to the bearish side. Let me just do one more fib on this one, just to get an idea. Is this anywhere close to a bounce spot? We're still holding that 50% retracement. All right. Almost got the bounce off that 618. You might find some bulls in here on AMD. It's going to be an interesting level. I'd probably wait about 15 minutes just because it is inside day. IBKR. I got left couple seconds. Interactive brokers, massive gap down. This one's gonna terrify some people. It's most likely, yeah, the nosedive day for IBRK Interactive Brokers. Everybody out there in YouTube land, I appreciate you joining us each and every day. But that was the opening bell, so I do have to unfortunately disconnect. Otherwise, you guys are incredible. Stay safe out there. We got Jerome Powell tomorrow, and I'll be back tomorrow with you. Tesla earnings after